pulling up to the site. It looks like they've got a ton of completed homes, and there's still a couple printers assembled. I'm back at the Diamond Age project here in Arizona, and they've been making tremendous progress. I count at least 4 printers on the site, and they've got 4 rows of 6 homes each. So that's about 24 houses just in this one location, and they're printing in other places too. I know they've got some projects in Eloy. This is Casa Grande. 1 printer that's not assembled, 3 that are in the middle of the house, so we'll be able to see some of the raw layers in a minute. We're gonna take a look at all of these homes and try to see what we can learn from the Diamond Age process. You might remember they have a huge plan to automate the whole construction process, starting with 27 tools that they identified, including LiDAR scanners, cutting, placing, pick and place, all kinds of robotic tools. We got to see it live on the last video, but this time it's a Saturday. I'm on my way to a conference in Vegas. They're not working today, unfortunately, but we will get to check up on their progress.
You can see it looks like they do some kind of aluminum framing on the corners. Maybe this makes it easier to attach either the mesh or the Tyvek, but I'm not sure if they were doing that in the beginning. It might be a newer update. It's certainly, I think, the same floor plan that they were doing in the beginning, and it looks like a slightly taller layer height, but maybe that's just my perception. I haven't been here in a while.
You guys might remember back in the early days of this channel, trespassing was no big deal, but these days we respect signs like this. So I'm gonna stick to the road today, but we still get a great look at these printed walls. And what Diamond Age does so great is that tall layer height, which allows them to print faster. If you got taller layers, less layers, and you're going about the same speed around anyway. You've got a really unique system here where there's a structural foam in the middle with post-tension cables, giving you tensile strength. You see that pod there, labeled pod 1? That's like the control station. You could call that the brain of the system. Somebody can sit in there and be in an air-conditioned environment in the hot Arizona weather. That's really nice in the summer when it can be upwards of 105 degrees. One of the most common questions I get on this channel is why I don't show completed homes. And I definitely do. There's a bunch of videos of completed homes on this channel. You can go back and look, but they just don't go as viral. I guess people like to see the printing. And it's a personal life goal of mine never to disturb somebody living in a 3D printed house, because I don't want to be that creepy guy bothering everybody that buys one. No thanks. I'll just stick to the projects under construction. And if anybody reaches out to me, I'd love to do a video with you. You certainly won't find me knocking on any of these doors though. This batch plant mixer might not look like fun, but it's really the heart of this operation. You could call the printer maybe the bones. The sand, the rock, and cement, all the raw ingredients, including water, get put into the batch plant mixer so that it can be batched according to the current ambient environment. Depending on sunlight, humidity, the amount of ingredients you need may change. And that's, I'm sure, part of the learning process Diamond Age has in this process. And right now they probably have humans measuring out the quantities and determining through perhaps qualitative metrics instead of quantitative metrics. But now that they've got a bunch of data, they can crunch the numbers and program the system to read the ambient environment and make the appropriate changes automatically in the future. Each printer has 6 vertical pillars and then 3 X-axes, you could call it, which each can support a different tool. So you can have one tool staging while the other one is operating potentially. You've got a robotic arm attached there, and I'm not sure what all the other attachments are. They haven't started printing here, so they might be doing markings or something else with the robotic arm. They could be doing cutting. I believe the slabs are also either pre or post tension slabs. The printer is super unique. Diamond Age does as much as they can in-house. They make their batch plant mixer and everything in-house. I'm sure they've made a ton of changes from the last time I was here, but unfortunately we're not able to get an interview today to get an update. I'm sure we will soon. Diamond Age is really doing awesome work, and the amount of homes that they've printed here is really significant. It really takes a massive pair of cojones to pull off a project like this. Cutting edge innovation is not easy. They don't call it the bleeding edge for no reason. It's a really important problem though. Housing is one of the most critical issues, and if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, shelter is almost at the base after water and food. So if you're able to increase the availability of housing, you increase the supply, and ideally, if the demand doesn't go up faster, then maybe the prices can come down and housing can become more attainable for more people.
While many of these homes have been moved into, zooming out, it seems like at least one may have actually been demolished. I'm not sure if there was a home on that empty home site, but I imagine they intended there to be, so it was probably a quality control issue or some other type of experimentation which didn't meet their diamond age standard.
From here, you're able to see nearly all 4 printers, including one that's disassembled here with just the vertical pillars all lined up. Then the other 3 behind it, which have various tools depending on the stage of construction the building is at. What Diamond Age does so well is that structural foam we were talking about. So the exterior wall isn't structural for the engineering calculations. This means that you don't require perfect bonding in between layers. This saves them a lot of time and efficiency compared to teams that need to check that they got a monolithic structure. This building would stand with just the foam infill, so all of the extra concrete really makes it a fortress. I counted 4 printers earlier, but they definitely have the parts for a 5th over there potentially, or maybe those are just spares. Take a closer look at some of the completed homes. It looks like a typical Adobe style finish that you'd see in this region, and if you didn't know any better, or you weren't able to see the one under construction, you might not be able to tell that these were printed at all. In fact, it would be very difficult because there's no exposed layers. It's just a really thick house with nice strong concrete walls. This industry is getting so advanced that I can't even tell you what that thing does. But if you'd like to get involved and find a job working in 3D printed construction, a super fast growing industry for the future, then check out humanrobotarmy.com. And we'll try to match you up with a company that's doing this near you. We've got clients hiring in all parts of the country and also now one in the Middle East. So as we expand, there's 400 different companies operating in this industry and all of them need employees. So let's find the right one for you at humanrobotarmy.com. Check out the link in the description below. As I enter my 5th year of filming construction automation projects, it's incredible to think of how far the industry has come in this time. In this really short period, I would say, it went from the very first printed buildings in the world to permitted projects, scaled projects, 24 homes, 100 home projects, and the whole thing has really been exploding. I feel so grateful to have had such good timing to see it all take place. From the first homes I was sleeping in my car to be able to film. I used to camp out at Kofa National Park for 2 or 3 weeks because there were so few printed projects back then. There just wasn't enough stuff going around for me to film. So I would do editing and try to research stuff in a place with Wi-Fi, but nowadays the channel's grown and I can get an Airbnb or a Motel 6 and things are really going great. So I just wanted to thank everybody who's been along for the ride and everybody who's gonna continue along for the ride in the future. Especially my great dog, Thane, who comes on all my travels with me. What do you think, buddy? Ready to hit the road? Who's a good dog?
You might have noticed a big change in editing. The past 8 videos had been edited by professional editors, but I think maybe it came off too corporate. Those videos all flopped compared to how they were performing before that, so I'm going back to editing all the videos myself. I've got a ton of incredible construction automation projects to visit soon, so make sure to like, subscribe, and follow along for all the exciting updates in this blistering pace industry.